Welcome everybody to the Short Sports Show. I am your host Daniel Short. Today is January 1st, 2015, the first Short Sports Show of 2015, episode 80 freaking 1. It's been a while. Sorry guys, been on a little bit of delay, finished school up, and that was basically it. That takes a lot of time. But anyways, it is NFL wildcard playoffs coming up later this week. I wanted to postpone the show from Monday to Wednesday, just that way we can get 2015 in here, get a little bit fresher. And if you can hear the show a little bit better, that's because I'm using a brand new microphone. Got a new microphone this past weekend. Very excited. Sounds a little bit better, more professional, I think. And it's in perfect time because we're going to talk nothing but playoffs today. Nothing but playoffs. And some college football news, including TCU, my Horned Frogs, made a huge statement to the college football, not only the playoff committee, but the entire nation for college football. It showed that TCU, not only did they get robbed, but that they should and could have been the national champion this year. And it's bittersweet, you know. We'll talk about that actually a little bit later. We'll get into that. Also, we're going to talk the college football playoffs previews since my Horned Frogs weren't in it. It is Oregon, Florida State. Then after that, it's Alabama, Ohio State. Today, it's crazy how we've talked about this all year since it was announced the end of the BCS. We're so excited. Now the playoffs, we still had a little bit of drama with it, which for some people that was good. For some people like TCU fans, it was terrible. But college football playoffs are finally here. Today is January 1st, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had fun last night partying, doing all what you wanted to do. Hopefully you have a fresh head today and ready to watch some college football games. We already got one going on right now with Baylor and Michigan State. Just probably kicked off. It is 11:35 a.m. Central Standard Time, so it is kicked off in Arlington, Texas, at AT&T Stadium. Excuse me. The Cotton Bowl game is going on with Baylor and Michigan State. And one quick thing, I want to clear the air here. Now, as a TCU fan, and if you're listening and you're a TCU fan as well, I want you to know, and for any other fan, doesn't matter if you're just a TCU fan, we don't want Baylor to win big. I know people are saying, well, TCU and Baylor, they're going to want to win. Both of them are going to want to win big games. So that way they prove the committee they were wrong. Yes, for your respective team, that's what you want to do. For Baylor, they still got picked ahead of us. We were ahead of them basically all year once, we finally got into the rankings. And then at the end of the year, they still kind of snub us. They got number 5. We got 6. I hope Michigan State dominates them. I hope Michigan State blows them out, 34-17 or something. That's what I want. We did our job 42-3. I want Baylor to go down and say, hey, we were better than Baylor. It was a fluke. We blew the game, and we are the best team. That's it. I don't want Baylor to win by 1 point. I want them to lose by several points, and that's just me. So let's go ahead and talk about college football. We've got a lot to talk about. And for you NFL fans only, trust me, we will talk about the NFL wild card in just a little bit. But first, let's go with college football. And starting off with Texas head coach Charlie Strong has dismissed 2 offensive assistants following the Longhorns' 6-7 finish. He released tight ends coach Bruce Chambers and receivers coach Les Koning were relieved of their duties on Wednesday, the school confirmed. This is what Charlie Strong had to say. Les and Bruce are both good men and good football coaches. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out, but I just feel like we need to change and head in a different direction in their positions. We wish them the best. Chambers had coached at Texas since 1998. He was the only former Mac Brown assistant retained after Strong was hired. Conan, on the other hand, was a UT graduate and was in his first season after serving as Mississippi State's offensive coordinator in 2013. The firings come 2 days after Texas, terrible game against Arkansas in the Texas Bowl. The offense only produced 59 total yards of offense. They lost 31-7 to Arkansas. It just makes you want to forget that they're still rivals. I mean, they might not be in the same conference anymore, still rivals. And Arkansas just put a beating towards them, and that's huge for recruiting. And it hurts Charlie Strong and the Texas Longhorns, even though they've pulled off some good recruits so far. But it's going to hurt. Especially talking about another Texas team, Texas A&M Kevin Sumlin has informed several NFL teams that have expressed interest in him, and that he's going to stay at A&M with the Aggies, according to team and league sources. Sumlin has guided the Aggies to a 28-11 record in 3 seasons, including an 8-5 mark in 2014. His current deal with the Aggies, approved by the Board of Regents in December in 2013, runs through 2019 and will pay him $5 million per year, which, is right around what most top coaches are making. You look at Jim Harbaugh, just left, with the 49ers, going to Michigan, $5 million, 7 years, each year, So, he's still getting paid good. He's doing what he's got to do. And just, if he had a defense to back him up a little bit, we wouldn't have this problem. And, of course, leading to that about the defense, Kevin Sumlin he had to make changes. I cannot speak today. I have no idea why. I was just excited about 2015, I guess. They stole LSU's defensive coordinator, John Chavez, same position, defensive coordinator, and that's huge for them. Chavez has been the defensive coordinator under Les Miles at LSU since 2009. He won the Broyles Award as the nation's top assistant coach in 2011. This season, LSU ranked 4th nationally and 2nd in the SEC behind Georgia in passing yards allowed, giving up only 162.3 yards per game. John will replace Mark Snyder, who was relieved of his duties after the regular season. The Aggies allowed average of 38.3 points and 502 yards in their final 7 games under Snyder's watch this season. And it just gets worse from that. Aggies ranked 103rd nationally in yards allowed per game with 449 and 111th in rushing defense with 223 yards each game. That's terrible. That's not Texas A&M. They keep getting top recruits, which is crazy. They continue to get top defensive recruits, and we keep seeing the same thing. So it obviously had to be a coaching situation, because there's no way you're going to continue to get 5-star and top athletes from in-state and out-of-state and bringing them in and that are freakish athletes, and you're still getting the same result of awful defense. It doesn't work out like that. It has to be a coaching situation, which it was, and A&M did make the change, which it is huge for them. Recruiting-wise, right now, Dalen Mack, who was uncommitted, who committed to A&M, then uncommitted to them, and now was just thinking of LSU and TCU. I'm sure because of this hire, it knocks out LSU and probably brings back A&M, because he's going to want that defensive coordinator in John Chavez, and this is it. That's the guy. So we'll see on that, how it's going to change and impact recruiting. Kevin Sumlin did say, kind of skipped around a little bit, his contract pays him, in case he left, leaves A&M before the 2016 season, he'll have to pay $5 million to get out of his deal. That's basically it. Seeing if there's missing anything. Don't want to really repeat it. Yeah, $5 million per season. Cool beans. Georgia head coach Mark Wright plans on returning for next season. When he was asked if he'd be back on the sidelines, which would be his 15th season at Georgia alone, he said, quote, "That's the plan. You can go ask the team." He is a Among the winningest coach in college football since 2001, his 0.79 winning percentage, which is 136 to 48 record, ranks fourth among active FBS coaches who have coached at least 100 games in FBS conferences, trailing only Ohio State's Urban Meyer and Oklahoma's Bob Stoops and Alabama's Nick Saban. So that's good for them. Apparently, there were rumors going around that he was going to retire and just, say, hey, it was a good run. 14 seasons at Georgia as the head coach, had plenty of good years and also plenty of just really down years. I never saw any reports of him retiring. I wasn't really looking out at that, thinking, he was always going to stay there. But we'll see. The Georgia hasn't won an SEC championship since 2005, but it's brought them back up and winning more games now, and have made it pretty close. But last season, almost had it against Alabama. Just bad play by Aaron Murray and a bad play call. Probably it was just all around bad. They could have had a chance to win the game. Didn't happen. But Georgia is still on that brink. You got Nick Chubb, freshman SEC Player of the Year. He could be the guy that pushes Georgia to the top rankings again. They've had so many great running backs come through there. Sadly, a lot of them get in trouble or they get hurt. Nick Chubb hopefully can stay on the right path and lead Georgia to the promised land. Ohio State coach Urban Meyer said Wednesday morning that he expects quarterback Braxton Miller to return to the Buckeyes in 2015. Rumors of possible Miller's transfer has been circulating and intensified the past few days. The Palm Beach Post, a source close to Florida State football program, reported Tuesday that Miller had shown interest in transferring to the school. Miller has also been linked to universities of Oregon, Ole Miss, and Duke, according to the newspaper. Now, I think it's a smart thing if he does transfer because Ohio State, obviously, we have J.T. Barrett, who finished fifth in Heisman Trophy, despite breaking his ankle against Michigan on November 29th. You have him. You also have the third stringer Cardale Jones, who led Buckeyes to a 59-0 win over Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, and will make his, second start overall in the All-State Sugar Bowl tonight. College football playoff against Alabama. That we'll find out who Cardale Jones really is come tonight. Wisconsin's defense wasn't really a top defense in the nation this year. Alabama's defense is a force to be reckoned with a couple NFL prospects. Let's see how he does against them. But either way, J.T. Barrett and Cardale Jones will be back next season no matter what. We could see a transfer for them, but I kind of doubt it. I know I had somewhere where the grades were. Here we go. Cardale Jones is a sophomore, and J.T. Barrett is just a redshirt freshman. So Miller is kind of like the odd man out. And really, he should just leave. You already got your degree from Ohio State. That's one reason you went there. So you have that transfer. Oregon, Duke, Florida State, Ole Miss. Either way, all those quarterbacks are gone. The starting quarterbacks of this season are gone the next year. We all know that it's going to happen. Jameis Winston's going to leave Florida State. Marcus Mariota also leaving. Bo Wallace, he was a senior. He's gone. Anthony Boone, I believe he's also gone. So Braxton Miller will step right in and become the starter for any of these four universities, and plus if there's any others he decided to think about. So it's really up to him. But if he's looking at championships, which I guarantee you he is, and also who's going to get the spotlight, I guess, the TV, everything, all on him. Oregon is a good shot right there. You got a lot of young players other than Mariota, of course. He could just step in. I'm not going to say he plays the same. He's not as fast, but he can run that offense pretty easily and probably can make some of the throws just as well as Mariota does. So could just step in there. Florida State, I just feel like there's too many distractions if you went there. Ole Miss, they had a good defense, of course, until yesterday. Good thing about them, but I don't know if you really